I'd like to call the meeting to order. Yeah, okay. Okay. We need to approve the minutes
So
for the
moved.
17th. Any corrections, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, everybody's here. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, great, approved. Reorganization.
I'll make Karen's message there.
Second.
I'd like to make a motion to have Alana Siegel as chair.
Are we doing the co-chair, that thing again? Is it for co-chair? I think.
No, this for chair.
Oh.
Second.
Is there a second?
Can I second for both, like do the co-chair like last time?
No, it's a vote for who gets the chair.
He's nominated Alana as chair. If you want to second that, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay too. But it needs to be seconded, so at least we can discuss.
I'll second it to discuss.
There we go. Madam? You have anything you want to say?
I really appreciate the willingness last year from you to work with me to help bring me up to speed on a lot of what's been going on over the last year. I really admire how you know so much about what is happening here in Great Barrington, the parks, but not just the parks, all the inner workings of what's happening in the town. And it feels really, really important to acknowledge how much hard work that you have put into this commission over the years that you have chaired this commission. At the same time, I also feel like a distribution of leadership would be helpful for the town in general and specifically for this board. And have been asked to be willing to step up to chair, and I'm willing. Unless there's someone else who also would like to step into a leadership role. It feels like an important way of making sure that the way that things work is able to be seen and experienced by all of the people who care enough to have a hand in what is happening here.
All I can say is this, is that, there has always been opportunity for people to jump in and do what they need to do. I feel that the level of effort that I have expended over the last year with Alana and also with all the projects we've had to do in town, the amount of time, the amount of going and visiting and being with Joe, and there's just a lot of stuff, and I will be sharing with you what went on over the weekend with this soccer stuff and other stuff that, I think that sharing it works well. I really do, and I'd like to stay as chair. I think I've done a good job. And I am always welcome and open for other people to say, gosh, I'd like to do that, or gosh, I'd like to do this. We had an opportunity where I sent an email out about benches. One person responded. It's like, come on, guys, if you need or want, there's plenty of stuff to do. So, that's just my feeling, with all due respect.
We all have to chime in here.
Absolutely.
For me, I do appreciate all the work that you do, Karen. I do know that you're out there, pretty much constantly working for the projects that you feel are important, for me as a commissioner on this group, I've always felt like you got your own thing going on and we don't really know completely what goes on. You don't bring back to us, I would love to see something at the beginning of every month, this is some of the things that I touched base on, this past month that, you guys should know about. That we never really get that kind of detail. And the thing that really hit me last meeting was when you said that we had a semi-pro baseball team come and ask about use of the field down here.
Mhm.
And you just said, I just told them no. I personally don't feel that that's a decision for you to make.
I didn't make it.
Who did? You said you told
I
them no.
invited the input from the paper. I invited the input from the millers. And the other thing is because we didn't even have a field ready to be used this year, there was no way I was going to put an invitation out on something when the two people with Chip and with Tom Ingersoll, both were like, absolutely not. We need a year or two to use our field before we allow anybody else to use it. I didn't make that decision. I had the stakeholders' input. I didn't think it was our decision. I thought it was more the stakeholders' decision. And I took that input from Chip and from Tom. That's where that came from.
I feel like a stakeholder in that kind of decision-making process, if not as a member of the commission, at least as a concerned citizen. I hear and appreciate that you took it to people who felt like the decision makers in that process. One of the things that I'm hoping for is more of an understanding of the ways those kinds of things come to us and the ways that those decisions get decided together, and what is the jurisdiction of the commission, and what is our job to make a recommendation to the select board, and what is between the chairperson and the town manager. And that's one example, but there have been others where it feels like the information isn't coming until the final hour. And maybe that's just the way that things get done. I understand that it is a lot of effort to move things along, and you've shared with us that I think we all made a decision that in between meetings, the chair and the town manager could make decisions when calendar items come in between. But there does feel like there needs to be, for me to sit on this commission, I need to have a better understanding of how decisions are being made and what kind of decision-making or advisory power, that's not the right word, that we have or should have on what's happening. And for me to sit on this commission for another year, personally, it has to feel less like a constant battle with people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I would like to understand what people are supposed to be doing when someone comes to us with a parks usage request and doesn't understand the whole process and suggests something that is not available to them or not under our jurisdiction. I need them to know that it's okay that they don't know how it works. We're going to help them figure out how it works, and they can come back to us with something that does work for us, rather than it feeling like a constant challenge. And that's just me personally. That's not on behalf of myself as the chairperson. That's just speaking to my experience sitting on this commission.
We are an advisory board.
Mhm.
That's what we do.
Yes.
We have no jurisdiction over Lake Manson. Not our fault. We are here to advise DPW and the town manager and the select board of what we think is important. That's what we do. We advise.
Mhm.
The ability of making information available, with all due respect, if people want to get involved in the process, all they have to do is get involved in the process. There's no key, there's no ticket, there's no punch card, there's no membership card. If you want to do it, all you got to do is ask. he's available all the time and will answer any questions you have. Most of the stuff, when it comes to procurement and everything else, that's staff answer, not our answer. The whole thing that went on with the lifeguards, that was a procurement issue. Bill was in on a meeting on Memorial Day, along with Mark, myself, Steve, and Joe. That had nothing to do with anything other than what happened. And thank God Denise is here tonight and her efforts along with Joe's in order to have some sort of process there. You know, we have certain guidelines and we don't have anything, we have no jurisdiction over a lot of them. Although we all think we may, we don't.
Can I ask a question of Alana? And forgive me because I didn't realize that tonight was a reorganization. Since the last reorganization, do you feel like you've, I don't know, experience, taken on a lot of experience and been able to kind of like, I don't know,
Feels a little catch as catch can.
yeah,
There was a short period of time that I was attempting to meet Joe and Karen for some meetings. But the timing for those meetings, you guys have such an incredible working relationship where you just connect and get together whenever you need to get together. And there were a number of times where those meetings didn't happen. And at a certain point, like that's my work day. That's my, work time. I want to make sure to underscore how much work I know you do. Please hear me. It's so much. And the desire for reorganization is not to take away from the incredible value that you have given this town. It is my desire for a different leadership feeling. And so to answer your question, not so much. I mean, I feel like catch as catch can, getting as much information in as much away as I can. But I have a desire for more, but I actually have a desire for all of us to have more. And maybe to divide and conquer rather than it feeling like it all falls to one person, to be at Memorial Field, to be at Olympian Meadows, to know what's going on in all of these places. It's a lot to hold on to. And I think that that's part of the reason for a 9-person commission is to share the effort. Otherwise, there would just be an advisory person or maybe, like a 3-member, maybe I don't know how that works, but it feels to me like we have a wealth of attention that could go to all of these different pieces of the puzzle rather than it just falling to the chair. If anyone would say to me, the chairperson's job is to go to all of the parks and to make all of the connections for all of the parks and to answer all of the phone numbers and take all of the emails, then I'm out. But if the
Surprise,
I-
surprise.
yeah, right. But I haven't heard that is the job of the chairperson.
Well,
Joe.
Not part of the discussion, but just speak from, my point of view here. I think the town and the commission is very lucky to have someone retired, because she does have a lot of time. So that's great. We all reap the benefits of that. I think there's the job that 2 years that I worked with Karen. She's so into her job. I had to tell the staff at my office only coming on Fridays. That's why we created the Friday meeting, which I have been very good about keeping over the past few months. So I think going back to the point what Karen said, I think there's plenty of fruit for the taking for any one of the commissioners that want to get involved in the project. Mr. Gibbons has been intimately involved with a lot of decisions, a great resource for me on the board. Just like Bill is helping with the lifeguards, and, so you all have your strengths and, that I pull on to make things happen. I pull on Karen's time off because it's there. But the point that you make about what the job is, I think it goes back to a point that Karen said. And my comment about the fruits there for anyone to take. She's created that job by going after it and making it a job. I mean, I have lists of stuff that she speaks up on, hey, don't forget the batch over here, don't forget to do that, don't forget to water this, don't forget to, you know, so I don't know if there's a job, I'm pretty sure there's no job description there. But I think any one of us could make a job description for each one of us, each one of you as a commissioner. You know, to do whatever you can do, for your life's options come first.
I'd like to talk to that. You know, I run the athletic center at Signage Rock. And if I let everybody, if I said to all my departments, you guys just do what you want to do. You know, it's like, this whole facility is yours to do what you want to do. Some work would get done, you know, some work would definitely get done, but there wouldn't be a cohesive direction for where we are going. Where have we all sat down? I sit down with my staff, say, what are you guys into? Where are we gonna head to this next year? What are we gonna do? Let's all take a piece of it while we're all sitting here together and let's go do that. I don't want to be in a situation where all of a sudden it's like I'm like a lifeguard and it's like, you know, I've run pools and, you know, on beaches and, you know, it's like I gotta help out with Lake Mansfield. And I mean, it's been a joy working with you, Joe and Janice, you know, and I feel like we really took care of what was supposed to happen down at that beach this year, you know, but I'd like to see a cohesive plan that where we look at all the parks and where are we going with this? You know, Karen, in January, you sat with us, and one of the last things you said in the January meeting was, I want the focus this year to be on volunteers. I want to get volunteers from this town. I want to focus on volunteers. That was it. I mean, it sounded good, but then there was no follow-up, there was no support for that. I mean, I would have gotten behind that 100%. And I was surprised in the next meeting that we didn't talk about that. So.
I wasn't here for the next meeting.
No, you were here.
I was not there in February and I wasn't here in March. I was out of the country. So that ball got dropped, absolutely. I'll accept that. But a little poke reminder, like, hey, how about that volunteer? That could have been a group. That doesn't have to be, Karen, you didn't do it. That could have been, hey, what about what we talked, what about what we?
Well, one of the things that I've noticed, and I've been on the parks a long time, you know, I feel that's kind of a moment of contention with you talk. That's okay. Not as long as Mr. Gibbons, but I've been on a long time, is that the parks right now are in the best shape I've ever seen them in. Everything that's going on. So if you're looking at results, you may not like how they got there, but the parks are in unbelievable shape. And they're growing. And I think for a town board, boards just move in mysterious ways. That you know, funding is difficult and everything else. I think as a group, 9 of us, which is what we should be, I think things are going pretty darn good. I think I'm very impressed with how things look and you know, have we had bumps in the road? Yeah, but they were unforeseen as far as I can see. So I think we've done pretty well.
I totally agree.
So Debbie?
So I've been on this committee since 2020, I think, and I've really enjoyed working with you, and I feel like you know so much about the parks and just the way the town works. But it doesn't seem like if Alana was the chair, that you wouldn't still be able to do all the things that you do. But it sounds like any of us can do what you're doing if we had the time and the interest to take on that, you know, meeting with Joe, talking to him. But if Alana wants to just, give the chair a try this year, I think it's important to let other people in the community who want to have a go at it to support that. It's nice to have change every few years. I think it's not that you're doing a bad job. It's just, lots of organizations will have a rotating chair or, rotating. I mean, I don't know how many years we're up for to get recertified to be on the board, but it's not a bad thing to change.
Mr. Given. As Steve said, I've been on this board for a long time. And I chaired it. Prior to Karen, I chaired it when we had nobody like Joe has kind of come in and taken over and been our go-to person and has taken a leadership role that didn't happen before. And some of the things that Karen has done, I had to do with the town manager because there was nobody else. The decisions, it would be in an ideal world if everybody that's sitting out there came to us in ample time so that as a board, we could discuss their desires and give approval or disapproval to what they do. But there's not a time schedule for these sorts of things. So you need somebody who is going to be available, not saying that Alana would not be available, but you need somebody who's available and beyond that, who has the best interests of the community at heart. All you people have to do is to walk down to Memorial Field to the skate park area, and there was one person sitting in this room who was responsible for that area, for it being there at all, and that's her. She took that on in addition to other things that were going on, and she wasn't the chair of that time. I was. So to hear this board, this is a splintered board right now. And no matter which way this goes, it's going to be a splintered board, and that's not good. I've been around this town too long. People will tell you that too. Too long to see how splintered boards do not work. And to hear, sometimes change is good, but change for the sake of change is not a reason for a change. Change is good when there's an absolute reason for doing that. And I don't see one now. We seem to be moving along. You talk about goals. All you gotta do is look it down at Memorial Field again. Look up at the lake. Yes, we didn't build that parking lot and all the stuff there, but we still have to manage it. And a problem occurred and we have to have somebody take care of that problem. No one wanted to have the company we had, gone through a bidding process, just pull out all of a sudden, and now we're left with nobody. Unfortunately, Bill was able to step up, and Janice, I guess, has stepped up too.
Yep.
On these things. So I have not heard anybody give me a reason, a logical reason for making a change at this time.
May I?
Let me,
Oh,
I
sorry,
just
sorry,
wanted to
And then
address,
you,
Paul, I want to take issue with your assessment that this is a splintered board. I think this board works really well together, and I don't see it that way. And it's kind of funny, I have like, the fourth goal was here, was, for being on this board, which is, doesn't seem like it's happened that, been that long that I've been involved, but I've seen a lot of people come and go. And I say this group we have here, really, I think we really work well together. And I also want to second your observation that having Joe at the head of the DPW, I think that a large responsibility, a part of the great shape all the parks are in is due to his credit. I think he's worked harder in this part of than all the previous board member or DPW guys that I've worked with since I've been on the board. So
That's so change. I don't see reorganization as being a big, it's not like we're voting for president. I mean, we're a group that work, we can work here together and if we decide to restructure some of the arrangements and how it goes, it doesn't mean that it's gonna, that anybody loses, because we're still here. Part, part of this commission to do what we do best. I hope so.
Almost the exact same points. I don't feel like this is a fractured board at all. I feel like we work really well together. We're a friendly group. I think we've listened to the town and requests, and we organize in a very efficient way. I see, just like to Tom's point, I see reorganization as an opportunity to just switch things around and make it exciting and, and rotate and, maybe bring you serve as chair another time, but I think it's really nice that we show ourselves or present ourselves as a board that is open, really open to just giving people chances, trying something new, and if it doesn't work, I don't feel like there's really so much at stake. I don't feel like giving Alana a chance for one go at it is going to really make so much difference, because I think you're so integral to how parks functions.
That's an excellent point, but let me tell you something about how I feel. My feeling is, if she wants to be chair, then do it. Don't come to me, don't ask me to take care of it. I think it's important, if she wants to do it, to do it. I don't think anybody really gets it. I don't think anybody really understands the phone calls and all the jabs that went on between all the soccer riot last night, all the stuff that goes on. There's times where this woman is running a viable business, 3 children, and she can't. She doesn't have the time or the, understandably, because she's got a really important job that I don't have. I'm not saying that she's not worthy. I'm not saying whatever. I'm saying there's plenty of opportunity for people to help and do what needs to be done for Park and Rec. If you really want to be chair, then you can figure it out, because I am not going to sit here and become, oh, well, we'll just do it this way because we want a chance. I'm saying from my personal opinion with the work that I've done and how I've carried the ball. You guys want to carry the ball? Then carry the ball, but don't expect me to pick up the slack and do all the stuff that you don't know about. I can only do so much. That's what this year was about. And admittedly, Alana has a life to lead. She's got 3 beautiful kids, a very busy business. She has retreats she does all that stuff, rightfully so, good for her. I don't have any problem with it. I think it's great. But I think it's also important that you guys that are mothers, there's times that other things have to take precedent, understandably so.
But,
So that's how I feel.
but just to Paul's other point, that when he was chair, you were also invested in parks at a major
At a
scale.
different level. It was different then. But it changes,
Yeah,
absolutely
but
changes.
are you saying that if Ilana gets voted as chair for this round, that you would not want to continue doing what you do?
I'm not gonna do the chair's job for her. And I just, because there's so much that needs to be done, I don't know how to, I am just not that well balanced an individual. I can sit here and go, oh, that's wonderful. Thanks so much. Thanks for your time. With all due respect, I'm not gonna sit here and go, yeah, golly gee. I'm just telling you. Paul,
I just wanted to say, maybe the word splintered was a poor choice of words on my part. And Julie said it's fractured, which pretty much
Right.
means the same thing. I'm just going back to a year ago, we were having the same discussion. And I mean by that is that we kind of divided ourselves, as best we could in a 5-4 decision. And that's what I meant by that. So that when we were discussing this same topic, that it came down to that. And that's what I meant by splinter. It wasn't like it was unanimous 7-2. And in fact, even one member had to say at the end, I hope there's no hard feelings. And that kind of hit home at that particular time. But that's what
I meant that clear. I don't mean we don't work together well, I don't mean that we're not friendly to each other, and we don't, have a common goal or work towards common goals. That's not what I meant by that, so I apologize for that choice of words.
Bill,
So I've nominated, this is the second time I've nominated Alana for this job, but things are very different from last year. I nominated Alana last year because I appreciated the tone that she brought consistently to the meetings whenever she discussed things with people that we had in front of us. Sometimes the tone that we present is a little rough with people. Rough to the point that I feel uncomfortable with it because people are coming for our help and we make them feel bad for that. This year, Alana has been to every meeting. She had a subcommittee that came up with valuable information about fees that we could charge at our different parks or parks usage. She guided that whole process. And what I saw is somebody who is vested in this, has put in long-term dedication to making this work. This is not the same. Last year was probably premature. And Steve, you even said that to me. And I think that this year Alana has stepped up. She's shown that she can be a leader. And I think that we should give her a chance.
okay, any further discussion?
Well, that's-
I'll call the vote. So Debbie,
Yes.
vote, just say Alana or Karen, it makes it easy.
Ilana.
Alana.
Myself.
Karen.
Karen,
Alana.
Karen.
how about,
Picture you on it.
Okay, please bear with me as I get my legs under me. Thank you. So new business, the first item on our agenda is the scoreboard at Wheeler and Taylor for
Mhm.
Memorial Field.
there's a letter in there.
There is a letter. Okay, shall I read the letter? Karen, I am writing this email today regarding the work that has been done on Memorial Field to date. The field is looking great with all the improvements that have been done to date. What a great job you and your board have done for the community. That being said, on behalf of Wheeler and Taylor Insurance, I would like to propose to purchase a permanently installed digital LED scoreboard for the field. If you would like, I can research the costs of purchasing such scoreboard for the level of baseball being played on the field. Or if you and your committee may have a better connection with purchasing power, I would be interested in seeing what you can come up with. As with the scoreboard we purchased for the Great Barrington Little League field a few years back, we would want to have Wheeler and Taylor name on signage at the scoreboard, which we would also pay for it to be made. Based on the cost of the Little League scoreboard back in 2021, I am starting with an initial budget of $5,000 for the scoreboard, wireless receiver, wireless headset, control storage cable and signage, and I am assuming the Parks and Recs Commission would have power and poles to the area in which the scoreboard would be placed. So I don't know what stage we are at with this, but are we making a vote on whether or not to accept this? I
We
think
would
we
have to
did.
vote to accept it.
Yes, so I'd like to hear a motion to accept this.
Make a motion to accept Wheeler and Taylor's offer of scoreboard.
Second,
Is there a discussion?
Yes, I have quite a few things to say about this.
Okay,
Can I just see? the-
absolutely.
This is the scoreboard, we're talking about an electronic scoreboard.
Yes.
Well, first of all, $5,000 isn't gonna cut. I mean, I better cut close.
Yep.
After you get done, is that, now correct me if I'm wrong, on this, it has to be, as I understand, new codes, because I went through this as a high school. We gotta have an architect, an engineer, and all that kind of stuff to design the installation of this.
I don't know. I know we have some town codes, I'm not sure. If all that's necessary.
Well,
There's
let's
there's gonna
assume,
be an engineer for wind loads and things like that.
yeah. Let's assume that the $5,000 covers the whole thing. First thing is, that we don't play really enough baseball in this community at this particular time to justify the expenditure of this kind of money, $5,000 or whatever it happens to be, to have a scoreboard at Memorial Field. Maybe years ago, when we had a really functioning Babe Ruth teams league that had up to 12 teams in it, which we do not have any, don't even come close to it. So to put that down there, to me, seems a waste of money. I have an alternate suggestion if they want to do something. The second thing is that who is going to control the scoreboard when we have a game? Who's gonna be in charge of the scoreboard? At the high school, we don't have an electronic scoreboard for baseball. They have a little, well, at least they used to anyway, when I was there, a scoreboard where you have to go out and hang the numbers on. And I don't know what the one at Little League field is like that or not, I don't know. I don't know if they make use of it. And you know, it's nice to have, it's one of those things that, yes, it's desirable. But in our particular case, at this particular time, I don't think we can justify this kind of an expense.
Can I ask a question about that, Paul? If Wheeler and Taylor is happy to take on the budget, whatever the budget is, do you still feel that it would be a detriment to the town to have an electronic?
I don't want to use the word detriment. I just don't think that it is necessary at this particular time.
Okay.
I don't think it's a detriment.
Okay,
What I would prefer to have, if Wheeler Taylor is looking to do something to enhance the improvements we made at Memorial Field, I would like to see them contribute or purchase a plaque, a really nice looking plaque to be put at the entrance to this field, to reminding people what the original mission was for that field. Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Field. There is a plaque. It used to hang on the fence. And it was moved, I don't even remember being moved, but it's moved and it's now sitting with another plaque that's down by the building, which no one can see unless, you know, they're going to the skate park. They're not going to Memorial Field.
I believe that was brought up last meeting. Didn't we talk about, Joe, the place where the plaques are now and finding a better place for the plaques to go?
It
Or,
was discussed, I don't think it's a decision.
okay,
I would like to see, you know, be that as it may, Will and Taylor, if they really want to do something at this time, to design, purchase, or whatever needs to be done subject to our approval, of course, a nice looking memorial plaque that can be installed at the entrance to that field.
okay.
And it's something that I think would, you know, I'm not looking for a little thing, I mean, I guess there was something sent out where there was some design perhaps of putting memorial field on the back of the dugouts. That, I don't think that was appropriate for that, for what that field was designed to represent. So, you know, after getting or finding out that Wheeler and Taylor was, you know, interested in doing something like this, I said, well, you know, maybe there's something that they can do better at this time. I don't think the scoreboard is going to enhance the use of Memorial Field because the number of times that there are going to be games down there at this time is limited. The Millers might play a half a dozen games down there. I don't even know what the status of the Babe Ruth program is. They had a team that just had a team that played for the first time in a half a dozen years at least in the county playoffs up in Pittsburgh.
Okay,
So that's my feeling is I think it's great that they have made this offer, but I think it would be a lot better if we said at this time, it's, you know, an unnecessary expense.
anybody else have any comments about this?
I just think it's ironic that just, Paul, to hear you say that, you don't know how much use this field's gonna get from. When the town just put so much money into and making a statement about what this beautiful baseball field. We've made here. I mean, that's been some concern I've gotten from a lot of other people. Why are we investing in that when because there's a question whether. Baseball is a dying sport versus a growing sport. So I would say that if we put the money into it. Which we have, and create it and making it a showpiece that maybe we should promote. Promote baseball.
I agree.
Even more, and having a scoreboard is not gonna take away from the fact that we can also have a plaque that's for the memorial, dedicating it to the soldiers and sailors, which is the history that it is at.
And could
no-
the
no-
scoreboard also say soldiers and sailors Memorial Field?
Scoreboard.
But I think we're putting the cart before the horse. Nothing could be more embarrassing than if we have Wheel and Taylor donate money, we put the scoreboard up, and Babe Ruth and the Miller say, well, everybody uses, why wouldn't we on the scoreboard? And it sits there turned off. I think our next step should be to ask Babe Ruth and the Millers if they'll use,
They would be interested.
Great.
yeah, they would be interested before we put it there, because it would be a little embarrassing.
Also, I think the Wheel and Taylor saying they're budget at 5,000, I think once they start
Tom?
pricing these things out, they're gonna find out that it's a lot more than $5,000 for the scoreboard.
Oh, yes.
Great, so it sounds like next steps for us is actually to talk to Babe Ruth and the Millers about the likelihood of their using the scoreboard, and also to talk to Wheeler and Taylor about having a more realistic budget. Does anyone have a handle on what a more realistic budget might look like?
20.
Okay.
By the time they get installed and everything, but then I want to answer Tom, his statement and maybe Bill's statement too. Just to bring us to reality about baseball, because you talk about a dying sport. Unfortunately, I think you're correct. At the high school next year, it could very well be the last year that for a while, that the high school has a viable baseball club. This year, they had 19 kids playing baseball, 19, they had could only have one team. Of those 19, one was a freshman. So that next year, their team will be all seniors with nobody behind them. Even if 10 kids came out as freshmen, it won't be enough. So talk about trying to get the program going, and I think Chip Paul is doing a hell of a job trying to do that. But I don't see, unfortunately, and I'm a baseball person, baseball coming back to what it was. I would like to see it come back, obviously, and then maybe at that time, it would be appropriate to consider something like this. That's,
Okay, Julie, then I'm very confused. I mean, we have a brand new baseball field out there. I was not here when that was approved. The renovation of Memorial Field, so what are we going to plan for that space? I mean,
There'll be, the Millers will play, there'll be Babe Ruth, it's less than it was. And 4 years ago, baseball was bigger than it is now. But it'll still be there, it's gonna be, there are people who are running it, there's gonna be a lapse.
I just want to throw out, I don't know if you know this, but they're gonna allow 7th and 8th graders to play high school baseball. In this next spring, they're gonna allow 7th and 8th graders to go play baseball.
7th and 8th graders, I understand that,
The bill-
7th and 8th graders don't play varsity baseball.
I know, but I'm just letting you know that they are trying to build the program. in
But
case you
remember,
hadn't heard.
those 7th and 8th graders are the ones that play Babe Ruth ball right now, and they're not playing baseball.
Right, but hopefully they are trying to.
So I think that these items are a little bit more bigger picture conversation. It sounds like I know next steps for me, but shall we take a vote on this? I mean, what we have said so far is that we need more information before we accept this gift.
Would it be appropriate if you would allow me to talk with Scott? Well, to
I
see-
haven't spoke to him either, so yes, I think between you and I, we should get together and speak to him?
Well, I'll withdraw my motion and make a motion to table this until we get further information.
Sounds great. Okay. All in favor of tabling it until the next meeting?
Yes.
So can we put that on the agenda for the next meeting, Carolyn, please? Okay, Old Maids is the next item on our list. Was there a specific question other than just, Tom, I think,
Well, what was up? I think Karen showed me some information that. At the last meeting, Steve had said that we had voted to close Old Maids, and where there was some question as to what that was, and I believe that. That vote that was taken, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, was to discontinue the swimming program. And activities that were there, but that the park itself would remain open as a public. Space, yes, Joe.
And I gave Karen a copy of 2 meetings minutes, one from 17 and one from 18.
okay,
Right, thank you, that's where that came from, Joe, yeah.
oh, I see, thank you.
Yeah, and you know, cause personally, I think it's just a great place to be outside and, you know, go out, do whatever. I don't like swimming in the Williams River. I mean, especially this time of year, it's so dry. You know, I'm not a big fan of swimming in rivers, but that doesn't mean that rivers aren't a viable resource and, you know, beautiful for the habitat. I have a question. And maybe about that for you, Joe, there was some question about whether the abutters to it, was it the Grockmouth property, or just how much of that Old Main's part is under the jurisdiction of the town, and is there any other, you know, attachments or conditions for the town to use any of that land? That part, I'm a little unsure of.
Yeah, I think as you go down towards like where the old dam area, as you look south, I think there's a fence put up there. There was some agreement back with the Rockville family or the owner of the Rockville property. That a fence would be put there and certain things would happen with the gate.
Did that,
So there's something, things would happen with opening and closing the gate in the morning and the night. Okay,
that was down below,
that's, yeah, down towards where they used to call Sheep's Hole.
yeah,
So, but the park, they show the park itself is north, you know, is it, when you walk down the bottom of the hill, there, the dam area, that's kind of the limits of the park. Beyond that, just like.
Joe, I'm wondering also if, Steve, if you'll help me, but could we have post a meeting and have an open meeting where we as a commission all go together to look at Old Maids just to see the whole
You can
situation?
do that. If there's no discussion, you don't have to have a secretary. If there's discussion, then you have to have someone there taking minutes.
Okay, so we can have this as silent, a silent one.
Joe could give us a tour, that'd be okay, we could ask questions. We'd have to
Do
wait
it
till
like
we came
before
back.
the next meeting, then we can come back here and discuss it like we did down at the Olympia Meadows.
That's what I'd like to do if people are willing. Joe, can you propose an afternoon that would work for you to?
Well, your next meeting,
August 19th.
August 19th, so we could do it, you know, like at 4 o'clock on August 19th, if people get there.
before the meeting.
That'd be great. That would be great. If I'm here. Okay, so
I have one quick question, but by closing, by closure, do you mean that there is absolutely no access to the park, or that there is?
I haven't come across yet. Steve recalled something about a vote to close the park. And we went all the way back to 2017, which, by the way, all those meeting minutes are on the town website. If you want to search for it yourself. And we found those 2 documents where they're talking about swimming. And it said that we talked about in the future, and then in 2018, there was that one discussion. I don't see where there was votes. This Steve kind of recalled, so I think we're still missing something.
I thought there was a vote, I still think there was one.
Yeah.
That was before I was,
Yeah.
yeah, so that,
Okay, well, so it
Well,
sounds like,
before that.
we're talking about, what we want to do with it for the future, regardless of the state that it's in right now. So if it works for you, I'd love to put out, that will be an open meeting without discussion.
So
You'll give
have
us
to
a
work
turn.
that out, Carol.
I will,
If
yeah,
she turns around, grades or agenda.
Yep.
You would say the meeting will start there, right?
and we will meet here after at 5:15.
I do know that, the Board of Health is testing the water there, because occasionally people do swim there. And we have a sign there that's a lifeguarding, you know, so the town has liability protection. If there's E. coli detected, there's a sign that's got a bag over it, we're going to take it off just to warn the people that might swim there. So, you know, we're doing the pieces of the puzzle to protect, you know, our liability department. One other thing, and I'll have more information for this next week, but about a year ago, one of the environmental groups, I'm not sure if it was federal or state, approached us about restoring the stream in the old Mays Williams River area. And basically, when the dam was put in there, it interrupted the flow of fish, I think, and habitat. So the request came to Chris, and we talked about, so yeah, you can take the rock, you know, the big part of the dam out of there, you know, and because that's really the eyesore and the dangerous part of everything. You know, we'd be interested what you would do with the stream bed. And there was talks about restoring the stream bed. They put some larger rocks where there'd be some deeper holes and keep people wanting to swim that could swim. I haven't heard of seeing any results of that discussion. Seems like there was some rationally that could be available. So we gave them a thumbs up and since we'd be interested to talk further. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything of Chris said, so I'll find out more about it.
And will you bring that back to us or have that maybe as part of our as your conversation with
yeah,
us?
that would be
Then I-
great, because there is some danger that broken up concrete and stuff isn't, it's not really safe, getting rid of some of that stuff.
So was it not removed in the end? I remember voting to allow them to go ahead with the removal at one of our meetings. Yes, we did. Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about
but
the dam
Did
removal.
I?
he hasn't heard back from
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
anything.
So nothing's been done with that
I'll
dam.
talk to Chris and see if we can chase down where it is. What I'll also kind of do is give the pertinent documents. So we know what land we're doing.
Great, thank you. Anything else about Old Maids before we move on? I see, old business and then parks usage requests and then some updates. So maybe we can move on to, parks usage requests. There's nothing under, old business. So Lev, are you here? Thanks for coming
Hi.
back. Hi,
Can you hear me?
a little bit.
Hi. You can hear me? I can put on my video or if somehow I don't think I'm able to actually.
Okay.
Okay.
So, we have your, usage request here. I think it's amended from the last time. Do you wanna tell us what the plan is?
Yes, sure. The plan is to do the first part of the event up at the gazebo behind Town Hall, and then to walk down to the basketball court behind Railroad Street.
Great. Motion? Motion to approve this amended.
So what is the walk, what is the walk gonna be? So are the roads gonna be, how many people you're expecting? Could you get some more detail about what you think is gonna be happening with this?
Well, we've done this for 3 years already, so
Yep.
we're pretty clear about doing it the same way, and we have a police escort, so we walk from Town Hall, and then we walk along the sidewalk Main Street and then up to the post office, and then the police holds traffic while everyone crosses the street on the crosswalk, and then we walk back down the other sidewalk on Main Street until it's Railroad, or no, it's Bridge Street past the co-op, and then we stop at the river and make an offering to the river, and then go over to the basketball court and finish there.
Nice. Motion to approve.
Again,
Any discussion? I noticed this time that there's snacks, water, apple, granola bars. Do we need to worry about that? Anybody? That's great. Shall we take a vote? All in favor? Yes. Anyone opposed? Okay, it is approved. Thanks, Lev.
Thank you. And just for the record, I have sent in the insurance to Carolyn, so it's on
Yeah.
record now.
It's here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Great Barrington Land Conservancy. Who is here for that?
Yay. Kate is fun. Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Ritter-Roblin. I'm a board member with the Great Barrington Land Conservancy. Here with Christine, our executive director. And we are proposing an event to take place at Lake Field. It would be the second annual event. Bluegrass at the Lake is what we call it. It would take place on August 31st, which is a Saturday, from 3 to 6 p.m. And we're proposing a pretty similar event as we did last year, which was a great success. The details are all proceeds would go toward GBLC, and there would be a suggested donation of $25 per family, $10 per individual, and children under 6 free. And again, that's just a suggested donation. We would also have, it would be featuring a trio, bluegrass trio. Music is acoustic in nature, but it would be just slightly amplified in order to have it carry over the outdoors. We would provide a generator for that. And we would have complimentary ice cream as well, just single service cups, no charge, just self-serve. And parking last year, Simon's Rock was very generous in lending their lot for overflow. We're not asking that this year because last year there wasn't an issue with parking. And now an expanded area for parking, as well as staffing a few more volunteers as we did last year to help direct traffic. We feel pretty confident that we could keep that under wraps. And then lastly,
I think that I would mention that this fundraiser is for Great Barrington Land Conservancy, and it allows for us to do our stewardship as we do at the Mansfield, which encompasses our work in the beach and park area, and also in the trail area. And this year will be very focused on the rehabilitation planting that is a part of the improvement that this coming.
Move to approve.
second,
Is there any discussion?
can I ask, does the admission fee, which is the admission?
it's free, but there is a suggested donation, $25 per family, $10 per individual, children under 6 free.
Last year, what happened, it's a very community friendly event. We understand that people are at the lake, not necessarily attending the event. We don't ask them to block their ears or not eat ice cream and go and have a donation place. And people can choose to make a donation. No one is forced to make a donation. Everyone is welcome.
So are we being asked to close the park?
No, no, absolutely not.
No.
No, one of the great things that happened last year that Steve just wants to look at as well is that it was this great organic mixture. There were people that came for the event, and there were people who were already there, their families, and everyone just kind of congregated as they wished.
We have the music off to the side, so people weren't forced to listen to it necessarily, if it was a choice. My only concern really is just that your volunteers are paying attention to the parking. It's something that I know that we want to talk about in general, but I'm concerned about not even speaking to Simon's Rock in case you decide that you need to have extra overflow. Just as a contingency plan.
I think, what we didn't mention too is last year, we always have volunteers in the parking area. So we help people to park efficiently and to let people know the parking lot is full. And so I think that's a great recommendation and certainly have that as a follow-up. We also had this, I forget the name of the organization, a gentleman who does, Berkshire, South Berkshire County, like,
Tri-Town
yeah,
connector.
he offered to help us with transportation.
Yes, please.
And we really build this as a, bike, walk, paddle kind of event, so that we are encouraging people to use the great trail system that we've created for the use of that park. So I think that's great.
I mean, I don't know if you would consider putting Tri-Town connector on your information.
We came forward like 2 days before the event last time, but I thought it was great. We just couldn't really take advantage of it. But this year we could.
I think that would be great. Shall we take a vote?
Sure.
Yeah, Joe?
I think there are two things, is entertainment license too, Steve, is that a select board thing? That's a select board, so, and then food probably needs to be run by the board out.
So I think we did both of those things last year. We'd be happy to do that.
Just to think
Thank
about.
you. Yeah, thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, guys. Thanks. Okay, SEPH, to use the Hoosie Dome on November 12th for a COVID flu vaccine clinic.
Move to approve.
Second. Who is here for that?
I believe Pam Stuff is here for that.
Steve down at the bottom.
Pamela S, yes.
Hi, guys.
Aye.
Hi. Thanks for being here. What do we need to know about this event?
Not much. It's the annual flu COVID clinic that we want to hold there at the Hoosie Dome. Setup is from 1 to 1:30. The vaccine clinic goes until 3:30 and then cleanup 3:30 to 4.
Great. Joe, anything about that time is okay for you? Yes. Okay. Any more discussion or
Okay, so really you're looking for 1 to 4.
1 to 4?
Yeah.
What day?
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
That's what it's gonna put in basketball at all.
Not if they're out here with anything.
Do we take a vote? Vote to approve?
Aye.
Yep.
Yes.
Anybody opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you.
You're giving shots.
Thank you.
So is there somewhere to put that on the calendar?
So there is a calendar that we got attached to our emails. I'm gonna ask Carolyn to put this on there and also organize it so we could see where conflict could exist.
Yeah.
Timing wise. With basketball and other things that exist on there. Okay, Memorial Field update.
So, just a quick thing, we were prepared and had opened the field just as we did the final mowing. It revealed there was a difference in the existing elevation and new elevation that was concerning to the team, so we fixed that and resodded it, and, it's being watered now, so the teams have been kind of restricted with play. Except they asked if they could use the infield and the batting cage, which is fine. So it'll probably be another couple of weeks before that sound takes. We got a punch list. There's a few things that we're still waiting for a set of bleachers to come in and some netting and different things like that. So there's some lingering items, but the field is pretty much, ready. gonna do another crosswalk debate down there, and we're gonna pursue, talking with the landowner behind the field to trim the trees in right field. There's the angle of the field. You can jump up and touch it, so it interferes with flag also. There's still some work going on, but pretty much most of the project is.
Great. Also, people need to know that that field now has a full perimeter walking. Right.
Yay.
And the dog signs.
Right, no dogs.
Awesome. Is a chain link fence supposed to say where it is? There's.
Yeah, we have an option to, you know, some of it's black and some of it's silver. We may change, the silver to the black fabric, just so it looks like what's just.
That's gonna stay.
Let's see.
in the same location.
Tom?
Joe, I went by the field, drove by today, and the infield with all the brand new infield, it's got tons of grass going through it.
So,
I mean, what's happening with that? Yeah.
Springtime.
so, that's a good question. We don't have an answer. That's got, 4 to 6 new inches of sand in there
Mm-hmm.
and 4 inches of clay. So how that grass is starting, so.
I don't know, but it looks like a hayfield.
It's healthy grass.
Yeah.
It's clearly coming from seeds. It's been on our list to spray, but with the threat of rain every day, we don't wanna,
All right.
put the vinegar solution on it. Till we know we have a couple days of dry weather.
No, I just thought it was, because, you know,
No,
we've
it's-
had the issue over and over about that infield and grass growing in it before we did the work.
yeah,
It's,
you know, so it is on our list to do. At the same time, we're looking to do the other 3 fields down there. We'll spray it and we'll. So
is any of that the contractor's responsibility?
they have a 30-day or a 60-day grow period. And then they have, a year warranty, but it's not against weeds.
It's not against weeds, is
growing.
that what you said? Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
It's growing. So, it started showing up a couple weeks ago. Every night it's right at rate. He had a plan for today because Gary reached out to me last week and what's the plan? We both on the schedule for Monday and sure enough, today we have a thread of done, but it's range. We'll get it. The vinegar solution does work.
Joe, has the problem with the bases themselves?
No, the one that's off axis.
Apparently,
Yeah, no, it hasn't. So the final punch list hasn't been issued yet to the contractor. So he's got that and a couple other things to take care of. So,
but the base has been purchased and everything?
oh, the bases are in the shed,
They're in the shop.
but the second base is off axis.
Well, I know what they're talking about. It's at an angle instead of
Right.
square.
Right. Yeah, so that'll be fixed.
And are they satisfied with the mound now?
No. No, they're not, but, the way I'll talk to Chip and Tom about it is, we have a bunker down there, we'll put some clay in it, they can customize it to the way they want. So the rubber of the pitcher's mound is like 9 inches above home plate where it should be. It's just in the stretch, they want to see different contours or different heights or whatever, so.
Well, but it beats what the rule says, right?
Does, but they want something a little different, so anyways. We'll make the means available to make it right.
And when can they play ball?
Well,
3 or 4 weeks.
it's probably in a couple weeks though, so that sod was placed, I think, last Thursday.
So can the Millers play their games on the field to end the July or not?
No.
Not,
No,
no, in a couple weeks.
okay.
We'll check that turf in a week or so and see if it's dry. All the turf is doing well down there. But we don't want them running around on that and slipping and falling or getting hurt. So we said they could use the infield. They wanted to use the infield for practice
Yeah, I know.
and the batting cage. So we give them the green light for that.
Thank you. I wanna make sure there's nothing else, and then, for Memorial Field and then Grove Street quickly. I'm
Grove Street,
sensitive to the time.
We have 2 small things to put in up there, pretty much done, and then we got to put some protection.
We climbed the climbing gym.
Good.
It was pretty fun. It was fun. For me.
Lake Mansfield, the project itself, you know, the place is being used, we as a town own the watering up there, so we're watering the sod now. There's parking issues up there. And we have the lifeguard, subject matter. That is working very well, considering where we have been. So. Been talking quite a bit with Denise, and her staff. And we're getting probably 6 out of 7 days result on every week.
Huge.
So it's.
That's
working.
huge. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any more. I know it's
No,
especially you guys.
It's really been quite disruptive. I think everybody recognizes that. I think we all see where there's opportunity to prepare how the RFP is done in the future, so that this doesn't happen, has been difficult. Our staff has all gone away, and so now we're rehiring and retraining mid-summer, which is just really difficult to do. We have a good group of guards, but we also just, you know, things happen in people's lives, and we probably look at no matter what, we are missing 2 key guards for big jobs, you know, come August. So we have a course running on July 26th that starts on July 26th. It goes, if they want to do waterfront, to July 30th with 1 day off. And so we need more guards so that we can, even if they're only doing the indoor guarding, put guards indoors so we can put some more experienced guards outdoors. We're offering the program for free. People need to be able to swim. All of the details are on our website, on our Instagram. Everything is out there, but it's a really, really great deal. And it allows for them to continue to really be employed and have a flexible job, you know, moving forward with really decent pay. So we would love help. We have 2 people signed on to that course, but by American Red Cross standard, we can't really run it unless we have 5 official people in that class. So we really need 3 more guards to take that. It also requires about 8 or so hours of the online work ahead of that June 26th. So it's important. The one of the guards that was previously hired by the other company did not have certification. So he though is going to take the class, and so feels good about that. And then we have another person. I think we got Greg, right? One of your guards. Greg, he came on this week. He's been great so far. We just
That's awesome.
I met him today, so that's been helpful, Bill. So there's some things we need, some equipment that we'll talk about with you, Joe. And we're doing the best we can. On the days that we don't have people there, they tend to be closed. You know, right now weekends are really busy because we also run large to swim, so our pools are packed. And we need extra guards in the building, but we're doing our best, and hopefully it'll improve.
Thank you, Janice.
Coming on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any way that we can help get the word out? I mean, is it up on the, yeah,
Yeah, it's on our website. It's
On
on
the
our website and all of our social media. Share our posts, find kids that you know that can't swim. To do the indoor class, to do the regular lifeguard class, you need to be able to swim at least 12 laps continuously. And along with other things like, you know, swimming and get a break and stuff like that. For decent swimmers, it's not a huge feat. So, but for non-swimmers, that's why we have lifeguards. So, yeah, so share what you can. I put out a post on my personal beach last too.
we're gonna try and make a connection to Ellen Lar
Yeah,
to
that'd be great.
put it
Go
up.
through the town manager.
Yeah, it's through the time.
Mark gets with her tomorrow.
Mark,
Mark actually meets with her tomorrow after. So we drop Mark off.
great, thank you.
And I would just like to say, you know, trying to get that all together in the beginning. It was a pleasure working with both of you guys. It really, you know, you do a great job over there at Berkshire South, James Siri. I was just down at the lake today, and the lake is great. The water is great right now. The guards are wonderful. I think we do have to talk about the goose situation.
Yeah.
In fact, I had 2 people come up to me and say, is there a parks meeting tonight? Because we have to talk about the goose poop.
Yeah, that would be the Board of Health and the inspector. And then the Conservation Commission, not our problem.
So we moved the guards to 12 to 6, so that means by the time the guards get there, it's just packed.
Yeah.
Guards have to focus on
the water, you know, if they don't have extra time or hours to come in, and the type of standing that's needed also really tricky to reach, like,
Yes.
they get the boots right on top, and, you know, it's easy to scoop up, that's if they have the time to get to do all. So it makes for, we've gotta figure out a little bit. What we can do about that.
Could we talk about putting another, like you and I talked about, putting a load of the more coarse sand down and then rototilling that together? Because that has really turned into a clay pitcher's mound now, you know?
Yeah.
But everybody says it's soft on their feet.
Yeah, but it is.
That's true. So
Popped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, on that, you know, I know all our hands were tied about budget issues this past year. Which we cut back the hours up there from to 5 instead of like 10 or 11. But that clearly when the lifeguards show up, that place is already hopping. Which doesn't get the lifeguards time to do their proper setup, which they would always pick up the loose food and take these stuff like that. So what we're trying to do is get some of the DPW guys up there a few times a week to do that. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, you know, we turned around and thought of that as a cost savings measure. It's really added cost to another area.
Yeah,
So I think it's just something to remember as we go on the budget discussions next year.
and I'm sure that you're taking note of all of the time and attention that you're putting into it for our knowledge for next time.
Yeah, so, yeah. We have to figure something out.
Okay.
Not sure what that is yet, but I mean, we do have lost on by put us all in a tough predicament. We are working through it now, so. I've had conversations with Mark about some different options.
Okay, will you keep us posted and let us know what you need from us as a commission in terms of making that an easier, smoother situation? I mean, I know we're limited by budget and all that stuff, but
I know one thing I think we're gonna change, because we run the lifeguard program contracting up there runs our fiscal year.
Yeah.
Which, starts on July 1, which means we have one contract period for the spring, and then another contract. So we gotta figure that out, and I think that's a doable thing.
Yeah.
Out of my office, it's, because it's just not conducive for the people that are providing the service.
yes, and the skate park too,
What's that?
the skate park. too.
So, okay, but I got some update on that one too.
Can I say one last thing about Lake Mansfield? 2 people who are like on record, Steve Small, who volunteered 2 days worth of his time to help me with lifeguarding. And Jill Fleming, who literally made a rescue on the beach when the beach was closed down of people who were swimming. And she saved somebody's life. And you know, I think just to have that on record, because we have town people who are watching out for each other, which is really a wonderful thing, you know. Well, thanks.
You're expected.
Yeah, it's part of my job. So I get big bucks here.
You want to send me the information and give a mailing address, we could help. Thank you.
I'll do that. That's absolutely, yeah, let's do that.
So I guess the last thing on Lake Mansfield was really the parking situation. Please don't turn all maids into that. Okay. Well, we met the town manager, Chris Rumble, myself, and the police chief, met, there was parking issues up there. So we are gonna be placing some barriers in the sense of probably be rocks or something along the roadway, so no one parks off the roadway. It blocks the route for emergency vehicles to get in. They're gonna make some type of announcements through social media about not parking, you know, where you're not supposed to park. And then the enforcement, so the police department was taking cars, and they will tow cars if they block it.
So just for clarification, the parking like along Lake Mansfield Road towards Dehan. No parking, 0 parking. Okay. Is there a plan for overflow cars? There is no plan. This is a big issue.
Not for parks,
Not
not
for
our
parks,
jurisdiction.
not, well, that may be, but it is something that we need to know what the
Well,
situation
but
is.
other than clear cutting trees. Wasn't advocating it. There was no place to put extra park,
Right.
that's the problem.
So, but just like for creative solutions in the meantime, I'm wondering about a sign that has the telephone number for Tri-Town Connector. Go back to your house and leave your car there, call Tri-Town Connector, they'll pick you up and drive you to the lake. Some way of acknowledging that we understand. And that at some point there is a limit.
Correct, and there is some parking down at the moment. So you can park or bike and ride and kayak, to there, there's not a lot of parking down there.
5 spots.
I'm sorry.
And people can park on the streets of the hill. But
Mr. Gibbons, would you like to address that?
You think so, huh?
Mr. Gibbons, it's like the Barrington Fair, $20 for all day parking. Give you 5.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
The first day they had a fight on the road between two women who blocked each other in.
so we know that this is an ongoing issue, and then we know that there's something that needs to be done. I think that the first piece of the puzzle is just to understand that there is no parking on the sides of the road, other than the designated parking spots, and there are 40 of them. There is no parking at the lake, which means that cars that are parked in front where it says no parking are not allowed to park there and could merit a call to the police to take care of it. Yes? We are
The
all,
police will be up there.
They'll
They
be
realize there's a
certainly-
problem.
yeah.
They'll be up
Let me see if I understand this correctly. There's 40 parking spots. So when those 40 spots are filled up, and I'm a resident of this town who just paid my taxes to help put that in, I can't go to the beach area that I'm paying. Is that what our answer is to this problem?
Tri-Town Connector.
there. You can park in the neighborhoods.
Private business, which has nothing to do with the town.
It actually is a town, it's a town department.
It was an issue with the
So-
last parking lot,
That's true.
you know, nothing's really.
So-
That's our answer.
No, the answer is you can park in the neighborhoods. You just can't park on the side of the road and block emergency vehicles.
Right.
Okay, where can you park
Your house.
by the neighbors?
You can park on Hollenbeck.
Okay. So for people who can't walk that area, what's the answer to that one?
That's
Tri-Town Connector.
It's a problem. It's a definite problem, I'm not denying.
So
We
you know, it's like,
created a problem, but we have no solution to it.
maybe there is.
Hold on.
So, you know, we talked about this at the Lake Mansfield Alliance, and it's one of the things on my list here that,
The attachment.
yes. And, yes, and, so there is a limit to parking in most Cape Cod parking fields. But at the beginning of those parking fields, there is a booth that tells people we are filled up. You know, and you have to either wait or go to another parking field. You know, I think if we had somebody that was there, like, it's one thing to just say no parking. And people are coming up from New York, we have visitors from all over the place, and they're like, I'm here for a weekend, I'm parking, I'm going swimming. I mean, I lived that for 2 days, you know? You know, there's no stopping that.
But we had the same issue with the old parking lot.
Yeah, but but then they park right along the road, you know, so it's like, and then,
Right,
I know,
they
but
weren't
they-
supposed to do it then either, you're absolutely
They're
right.
going to do it,
Yeah,
so
we're not.
it doesn't
enforcing
matter
it.
if it's a new parking lot,
Yeah.
they're still the same, people are.
So I-
they're gonna.
I see Ananda's hand, I just wanna say that for a second, but I think also, Bill, one of the things that you're speaking to is that there is some value in transparency, so like, if there was a sign or something that said, when the lot is full, you may not park here. Find a parking, you know, go find a parking spot in the street.
That's a fluid thing, because we talked about that this morning, because if you turn around and the parking lot's full with two people, not everybody is up there swimming.
Yes,
Okay, so if two people finish their hike and they get in their car and leave, who goes and takes the sign down?
right, no, I understand that that's the problem with the sign, like Bill was saying, where it's like a flip or something that says now the lot is full. But there could be a sign somewhere that says, if there are no parking spaces, this parking lot is full. Like, I drove up there, yes, Karen?
Yeah, we have in our recreational overview in this town, not only problems at the lake, but problems at the skate park. There are huge issues with all of our recreational areas, and I think that it may be time for a task force about what we do about that. Jennifer Tavigan, we made a whole thing of parking areas where people could, the other thing is with the Tri-Town connector, it may be bright that you could park somewhere down here and have the Tri-Town on the alley. That the town.
An overflow parking space, that's right.
I love
that.
Love that idea.
So I think that what this will take is a considered effort by more than one person to look at this issue and come up with some workable solutions. And I think with the Tri-Town connector, especially in the summer months, that you could run and every 20 minutes, whatever, if you know that you're gonna park over there and they're gonna run you up in the van on the 20 after and 20 it comes back and set it up. There's 7 vehicles down at the senior center, 4 of which you could use to do that.
I love this idea. I think, yes, so,
Keep in mind too, well, let me just first tell you that the parking lot holds 10 more cars than the other one, so some growth was anticipated into that. But in discussions today, some of the quantities of parking cars that, with the cars in there was tied to, not overcrowding the beach so that the lifeguards stay within the ratios. Of
Bingo.
people they're watching. So the thing is, if you influx too many people, you're gonna be put a third and a fourth lifeguard. We have provisions with, for yourself on certain occasions.
What's the ratio, Janice?
It's like 1 to 25.
I was gonna say 1 card? Yeah. 1 to 25.
But they have the lifeguard, so they're struggling. They might have designated spots. All that's.
for
Designated spot.
lifeguards are gonna park at your house.
Hey, no, they used to. Before we did all this nonsense up there, excuse me, Christine, and the road was dirt.
Okay,
They did.
okay, and we
I
know,
still got the box where the lifeguards put their equipment. It's still sitting in my house.
amazing, amazing, I didn't know that. Okay, we know that this is a bit much longer
That's why you put
conversation.
all
We
those
know that
cards in.
you guys are working on this. Joe, if you'll keep us updated next month on where we get to with all of this. I love the idea of a task force with Tri-Town Connector and maybe other town people about an overflow lot, just as an aside. Okay, Amanda, did you want to say anything, or shall we citizens speak?
No,
Please.
she wants.
She's on.
Karen covered what I was gonna suggest about the town has a map of parking available.
Thank you. Okay,
So you said on the parks list, Railroad Street Youth and Skate Park.
yes,
So based on the youth services money that we have in the budget, there was money left between what we're projecting for lifeguarding. And so we engaged, Railroad Street Youth Services. And off the top of my head, it's 7 days a week
23.
during the summer months until school starts, between 5 and 6 hours a day. So, we have that.
thank you.
And it has an agreement, contract.
I know you went beyond to make that happen too. Thank you so much. Okay,
Amanda has.
please, Amanda.
I just wanted to add to that update. We like the situation in Lake Mansfield. We are far behind. We started out in ready to hire for May and had 20 candidates. We have we have lost all of those candidates and are starting from scratch, but we're starting out the contract with Devon in the skate park on weekdays, and we're gonna bring back any staff we can find who previously been trained, and it's gonna be a rough start, and we'll keep you all in the loop as that unfolds, but the goal is to see if we can get enough staff to cover 7 days a week, 6 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, 8 hours, Friday through Sunday. And I can't thank Joe and Karen enough for your help pushing this through a very slow and difficult process this year for Parks and Rec. So thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for keeping us updated. If you feel like it would be helpful to put out an ad for skate park attendance too in the same conversation with Ellen Lar, let me know. Okay,
I'll defer to Devin on that and just have him reach out, but we're trying to start with people previously trained, just because we don't have a lot of training time.
Great, thank you, sounds good. Citizens here to speak. Yes, please, will you introduce yourself and tell us where you live?
I'm Mary Stephen, and I'm at 126 Castle Hill Avenue. And I think you've already talked about what I've been talking about. I really appreciate all of them at Lake Mansfield and serve. It's just really exciting to walk down the road and see how beautiful it is. However, I'm kind of here advocating for children. The goose feces are really young. And they're not just on the beach, they're in the water. So these little children are just going in the water, stepping on it. It's not okay. The swirls in the boat. I would be, if you would have a can with little shovels, when I'm there, I'll be happy to shovel up food. But something has to be done. And I'm sounding a little hysterical, but I am a little hysterical. Now, the other day, I went on Sunday with a friend. There was hardly any food. And the dogs were not there. I told them this for those children. And nothing. Because when we came back, they were all over the beach, all over, prancing all over. But they have another space where they live. It's over by the boat. Can't we put flags at the beach and say, guys, no beach? I mean, it's, they don't really have it. I don't know. I am not an expert on where the kids are, but I'm really advocating for children.
Thank you.
It's not fair.
Thank you. Very much heard and appreciated, and we know that this is a big issue that we are trying to figure out.
Okay, one more thing, colleagues. We're swimmers, so we would also like everybody to consider for next year to have the weeds cut just in an area up and down the lake. So this year is pretty good. There's hardly any weeds. Well, or we could get to one end or the other, but some years it's really bad.
Thank you. Any other citizens?
It's not our purview.
Please.
I would just, really like to thank the DPW for this the job. It was really difficult to transition so quickly from the contractors to the DPW being back at the job at the park. They really been loud in there, and then all of a sudden it was crowded, and then there was still work for them to do, and it's just been an amazing effort. And I just wanted to acknowledge that effort. You know, it's been transition. We're all learning a lot. But I'm just probably delighted with
Thank you. Thank you. And that's the feedback I'm hearing from so many people, so many. Thank you. Really amazing. More citizens here to speak. Do you want to say anything?
You have an hand over their hand.
Oh. Amanda first.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to speak as a citizen to, I just want to thank you, Karen, for your leadership particularly for, on behalf of youth in your role as chair. It's been tremendous working with you and I've learned so much and, you know, I'm going to keep calling and bugging you about all kinds of things. But I just didn't want to let this meeting end without acknowledging all the work you've put in and particularly around the skate park.
Thank you.
Yes, please. So I'm Mary Sullivan. I live here right back on Main Street. And I too am a swimmer. And I just want to say that, the Lake Mansfield is beautiful. It's a great job. And going out there, I was a little skeptical. You know, the changes and the trees coming down, I was horrified. But I think you really did do a beautiful job. I love Mary's idea. We walk to the beach every single day practically, swim in it. And you end up putting down some coarse or sand. You know, just as on a volunteer level, if you do put a bucket in, you know, little thing, I'm sure there's a few of us that would, at least this year, work to, because it is gross. I mean, they are gross.
That's a control. That's a great idea. Is that something?
Road patrol volunteer.
It's great.
That is,
That's great.
that deserves a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Maybe the lifeguards don't have time, but maybe.
The parents will take them up.
And the parents. Volunteer.
That's a great sign.
Yeah. It's so great.
And the other piece that I, you know, if Jill has already rescued someone, police presence, not just during the day, because there are times where people go there just to party, late at night, and, I've been keeping that ratio and being very aware of it, and when that ratio is exceeded, so we need to shut it down, until, because it would be terrific for a lifeguard, especially a young lifeguard, to do something.
Right.
So just keeping that.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Okay, commissioners, do you want to say before or?
About Lake Mansfield. Just as-
Maybe we'll just go around. You want to start? Go for it. Go ahead. Would you
Okay,
start?
so it was, just, as a recent user of the path to Lake Mansfield, I just noticed that the asphalt is unbelievably hot, just like scorching, because if there is no tree line along that path anymore. And I was wondering if you have any ideas to just, I mean, funny enough, there was an article in the New York Times about like just heat burns from asphalt, how the pavement is actually like 20 to 30 to 40 degrees, and it's hotter than the ambient air. And I was wondering, I mean, my first solution would be like just replant along the lake front, along the path, but, the perimeter, but, second, maybe we can do something like painting the asphalt white or something with some kind of color that won't just cool it, because it's so unpleasant, especially for dogs, kids, adults. I think it's gonna be a real issue, especially on days like this.
There are entities planned along the path that we done this fall. That's part of the contract. I'm not so sure about. I think they need to do it.
Yeah.
They do tennis courts. It's just, I mean, this
I
town.
mean, even like
I mean-
stripes of white, just to cut that black asphalt, you know, with the heat coming from the.
I'm curious what happens with the plantings. I'm hopeful that we'll have some more shade someplace.
I don't know, but,
As a,
I mean,
as a town that where we to spend some of our resources, bridges and roads.
yeah, but it's just that, you know, it is a new path, it's a pedestrian walkway, it is really uncomfortable when you're not in the shade of one of the trees. Thankfully, there are like little blocks of like.
You just put it down so this hot.
Anything else, Julie?
No, that was it.
Sure, Debbie? Nothing. Bill?
Karen, I just want to say thanks for all you've done. And look forward to continuing work with the Parks Commission.
Thank you. No?
I think we need to do something still with our reorganization. Because right now, you're the chairman and the vice chair. So we didn't elect or select the vice chair. to this, And that should be done, correct?
Do you want to, yes, can we make a motion now?
Well, I don't have any, I mean, I'm open to hear what the board is. You know, wishes are, but we should. I don't know, I'll nominate Karen to be vice chair.
I'll second that.
You interested?
Sure.
We take a vote, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Karen is vice chair. Thank you. Thanks, Tom. Steve, anything?
No.
Karen?
Nah.
What if anything are we doing about this, soccer incident?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh. Peter. Oh, shit, sorry.
This is a little, I mean, I'm assuming everybody got this?
Yeah.
All right, since I handled it, let me handle it.
Yeah, please.
I got a call from Chief Storty. Evidently, there was, and there's a lot of detail in that, but basically it was two teams. Evidently, they were representing certain
Ethnic groups.
South American countries.
South American countries, and there was a major riot melee, terrible fights, everything else. I talked to Paul at length, he said that out. I called Clemente, who was one of our contacts. And I said, Clemente, what the hell went on? Well, Mom, do you need, I was like, were you there? Yeah. I said, you didn't own up, you didn't let the cops know that you were part of in charge. And there's a guy from Pittsfield, his name is Luke Gallagher, he's got a Facebook page. This is my suggestion. I told them, without asking you, Bill, and I'm really sorry, but I told them they're done. Game over, no more. You can't play like grown-ups, you don't get to use the field. I think it was their final anyway.
It was.
It was their final.
The team, Brexit, or everybody?
Everybody. Nobody goes down there because here's the problem. The police, did you read the whole thing from start to finish?
Sure.
Okay. What I think we need to have a hearing. I think we need to get the people, the coaches from both teams. And find out exactly, at this point, put a moratorium. Nobody goes down there, nobody uses anything until,
Who is that?
well, there's another number on here. There's a 717 and a whatever. My suggestion is that there be a hearing and those people be called to task. This guy, Luke Gallagher, who is evidently giving advice saying, don't listen to what the cops are saying, get out of here. And they were evidently speeding up that very thin roadway. It's lucky somebody really didn't get caught.
You know, every soccer league that I've been involved with has referees. And the
The
referees,
referees left.
but what I'm saying is the ones that I've been involved with, the referees are associated with the county referees, the high school refs and all that. And whenever we've had team organizations, whoever was in charge back in the day was Carl Filio, something Pittsfield. They were part of the organization of any league.
At this point, you're going backwards, Tom. The problem is these guys just sort of put this thing together and
Well, they
play.
need that
And it's,
kind of organization.
and we let it happen.
So it would seem to me, first of all, we only gave permission
Yeah.
to Clemente.
Yeah,
He was the one who
pickup.
showed up
For pickup soccer.
for
right.
pickup soccer.
Pickup.
So I do agree that we
Right.
should tell them they do not have permission, let the police know that no one has permission to organize.
Right,
Leagues
until we
down
get a
there.
better grip.
And I would not call anyone in, it's really, he's the one who's responsible for this, we didn't give permission to anyone else. And I would remove permission for him to do it, the season's over for them. I think we need to take a hard look at it for next year, and maybe call in Chief Storty or Detective O'Brien.
He was between Chief Storty and Inspector O'Brien. Read the details. It is horrifying. I talked to both of them. They were they, my fear is that, so you know, this happened in Pittsfield, they had the same problem, they got kicked out of Pittsfield, same team. And now I find out, 2 years ago, there was a stabbing at one of these soccer games in Stockbridge. Okay, so this is stuff that's just came to light. My suggestion is we put a moratorium, everything stops, tell the police, nothing else until we get a better idea. And this guy, Luke Campbell, I want to find him because he was the guy, he's a regular guy from Pittsfield.
But I have a concern about stopping everything down there because there are a lot of other people that are using the field to a lot of.
I'm telling that
Organized.
particular
That-
group,
Agreed,
that's,
but I'm not sure.
I think we should get them up here. You know, I think we should have a moratorium. I totally agree with you. I think we should get them up here and say. How did you guys, how did this happen? How did you let? this
Clemente was there and he did not own, I had a conversation, with him. He didn't own to the police. Because they kept saying, if you read it all, who's in charge, what happened, and he, Mama, I'm really sorry.
Well, the other problem was a bait and switch, because you've all said that. We were told it was a pickup game.
Yeah,
This was an
bingo.
organized league. This was not a
Yeah,
pickup
if you
game.
look at the
We gave a
advertising,
proof
Do
for
we
one
ever
thing.
even have, like, I mean, if it was an organized league, don't they need the insurance?
Yeah, insurance and all that.
Yeah, which we
We
didn't,
never did that.
We all, I feel
because it
like
was a pickup.
as a
Because-
commission, we need telephone number, phone, we need names and telephone numbers.
I've got
attached to
two numbers, I've
schedules.
got Clemente's, and the other thing on this ad, I'll tell you what I'll do. How about this? I'll put it all together in a one pager and we'll see what we can do. I wanna find this guy, Luke Campbell. Chambers, what? Chambers, excuse me. He's from Pittsfield. And I got on his Facebook page, so there's some background. This guy needs to be dealt with, because there was no reason to say, oh no, we're gonna just get out of here. That was the problem. People were exiting in by car. You could have had somebody really hurt.
We can't have a situation where
Oh, no.
a police are in
They
danger.
had, what do they have? 2 or 3 cops, and all of a sudden you got 50 people going nuts and
No,
punching?
it's not acceptable.
Karen, I'm reaching out to,
parents.
there's a- I think the guy who did the South County team. I don't know, but I know, he's been here for years.
Tom, will you invite whoever it is that wants to be involved in soccer down there to come to our next meeting so that we can establish relationships with the people who do want to take responsibility of what's happening down there?
Well, I can, I'll reach out. I'm reaching out to one guy that I know in particular that plays with us with the over forties.
And
But I-
anybody else that is gonna take responsibility for what's happening down there, because I think it would be good to have more eyes.
Well, I think what the problem is we said, yeah, go ahead, and all of a sudden, they had a major. How do I put this?
Riot.
Immigrant group from all over. And they ended up being sorted by country, and it got very heated,
Yeah.
and that's what happened, that's why it all started.
They didn't have no
Read the
position
detail.
to do that. so.
Right,
Right, they went over, and then Clemente was like, Mom, I understand you're not happy.
This particular league, as I understand it, has been in operation for several years. They've played games, I think last year they played the game, this particular championship game, I think was played at Lennox High School, but I may be wrong.
They use
So
all.
whoever,
Yeah, nothing more.
this, person you've been talking to plays in the league, I guess, and they organize it and have it down there. So, but it's.
They need to be called, they need to be.
This one.
You need them here.
Absolutely.
We need to set some back.
have to be here in front of us. Okay, anything else, commissioners, for this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.